moved.
I think we're okay.
What record is it?
Uh-oh.
What record are we using for the sunshade?
Deep Purple.
Deep Purple.
Deep Purple. Which album is it?
Who do we think we are?
Who do we think we are?
Who do we think we are? Can you sing it for us, Lulu?
Nope. Nope. I do not sing. You should know that.
Oh,
Hello,
man.
people. Hi.
Why, howdy, guys.
Evening.
Good evening, fellers. Hey.
What the heck?
It's Jesse Ross.
Hi.
What? Hey,
Jesse.
right, Jesse. How you doing, cowboy?
Hey. Awesome. Hi. Hi.
It's like a family reunion already. Oh, wow. Yes, we are live from the shed. An undisclosed location somewhere in the Western Hemisphere. Whether it's the Northern Hemisphere or the Southern Hemisphere, sometimes I forget.
Nobody knows.
I shoot either left or right. I don't remember which way.
Oh, Dimitri's here.
Hey, Dimitri!
Hey.
There's my man, Dimitri. We're going to be
heck
coming
of a
down there
shit.
soon. You know that, right?
You were just trying out one of his new toys the other day. weren't
Actually,
ya?
you're going to, yeah. So, Mrs. Rex and myself went out yesterday and kind of had like I burned up, actually barbecued my SDN6 silencer on that Midwest Industries AR.
Really?
I can't get it off. So like, but normally you hit it with a hammer and put stuff on there and it'll come loose. And so now it's soaking in penetrating oil.
Nice.
What's that penetrating oil that you know from them people?
The ultimate pen.
Oh, yeah.
The ultimate yeah.
The ultimate penetrator.
That's actually what it's called. It's pretty funny because
Good
it works
oil,
really
though.
good on loosening silencers. Anyways, but no, I cooked that silencer on the end of that muzzle. It is on there. It's fast attached. I mean, the mechanism works and stuff like that, so that's working fine. But basically, we're having problems getting it off of there because we shot so much with the 1-6 primary arms Predator reticle. It's made for shooting predators. You ever see that movie Predator?
Oh, yeah.
No. I haven't seen. I haven't
Casey
seen any
was
movies.
probably locked up in an underground facility at that
I missed it.
time, being trained for special things.
I know what it's generally about, though, like aliens, right?
Aliens?
No?
Yeah. So, like,
of.
Predator is a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Right?
Oh.
I almost went into the accent. I'm sorry, guys. And
I
they
didn't
fight
know.
an invisible alien. So that reticle is specifically designed for the Predator's face mask. From corner to corner is exactly 10 inches.
Wow.
So if you see the Predator, you shoot him right in the face. The alien.
The
Just so we're not offending anybody out there. Or if you want to be the predator of the predators, like coyotes, that the chest of a coyote with
Dimitri just slapped his face, just so you know.
with the fluff on the coyote because they're like a little fluffier. So their bodies maybe a little less than 10 inches, but with all the fluff on them, maybe they're around 10 inches. So like if you bracket a coyote in them circles, he's pretty much done.
Nice.
Or like a prairie dog, when they're standing on their holes. It depends on how big they are, but it's set up for like varmint hunting. And so I threw that on that Midwest Industries rifle, and me and Mrs. Rex were out there hammering away all day. Did you see how dirty I was when I came in the other day?
Oh, yeah.
Dude. So we went out to eat supper afterwards, and I'm literally like solid red from like this red dust that's out here. And I look like, I don't know, like a homeless person.
Oh, he didn't look homeless. He
Yeah.
just looked dirty.
Yeah, I was very, very, very dirty. My beard was just like red.
Gritty.
And I sit down and
Kinda crunched
So it
whenever-
was kind of funny, but anyways, we did the review did turn out good, Dimitri. So it will be coming very soon. I got a lot of good footage. It's hard to record the actual reticle in the scope while you're shooting it, as Dimitri knows, because I was out there and we did it. But I'm the master of that. So you get the scope cam where you put your cell phone behind the rifle scope on one of them. What the hell is that thing called? Scope mount cam deal. I don't know. Anyways, you mount your camera, and you put it in video mode, and then you can see where the bullets are going. But then you can't execute like normal ergonomics on the rifle. You gotta like hold it up here so you can launch your phone. So your toe support's like up here. So you're shooting it like a pistol like this on a big carbine. It's hilarious. But I could still hit the targets with the scope like that. But anyways, you're gonna like the footage I got for you, Dimitri. It really shows the reticle and how it works. Really good footage. So I can't see anything. The reason I'm wearing.
I can't.
What did we just get finished doing, Lou?
Before dinner time,
Yes, before dinner time.
some 9mm action.
Yeah, 9mm foo. The old 9mm Fu, they got me converted over. It is fun to shoot them. You can shoot them fast. And it stays on target pretty good. So we all had our Glocks out, and our cat back here had his Beretta 92, and we were it was twilight practice. And I figured that if you put on these things during twilight, it's like pitch black. Now these guys are maintaining, you always want to be sure what's behind the target, and we're on private land where there's nothing behind the target, but you don't want to do this at home, okay? But if you put on your sunglasses, because you got to have safety glasses when you're shooting steel, I think it's a good idea, because I had lead in my eyeball before. It's not good for you. And what the heck were we talking about? And lead poisoning?
Lead poisoning.
What were we just oh, yeah. So we're shooting the target with the 9mm. We went through like half a can of ammo or something. It was pretty fun. We're like running in circles with our sunglasses on, like in the dark, like shooting at the target, using flash sight picture and all this high-speed stuff, throwing magazines in every direction. Oh, sorry, dude. Throwing magazines in every direction. Dude, did you see that that live stream I did with Mrs. Rex the other day where I hit her in the face with the rifle on accident?
What?
Yeah. No, it wasn't the rifle. It was that Accuracy Solutions bipod EXT.
Oh, well, at least it wasn't the rifle.
Because I'm always talking, going like this. I don't know what to do with my hands. Remember Ricky Bobby?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what to do with my hands. When I get to visit and I get to swing my arms around. And so one of our alumni, his wife makes really pretty ladies' hats. The classy ladies wear the really nice ladies' hats, like from the old days. And so she sent Mrs. Rex a really pretty, like, green hat. And these guys might have heard the story already, but these guys didn't. And so they're watching this live stream where I'm doing this, and Mrs. Rex is like dodging stuff all the time. And I'm like, hey, check this out, like a bipod, and whap, could happen. So they sent her a hard hat, like an oil field, like hard hat, that's like kind of like a maroonish or some kind of teal color or some kind of girl color. One of those colors that's in between normal colors that doesn't have a name that I remember. That's girl colors, okay? It was teal. It was teal, I think, and it had like a pearl deal and a flower on the front, and so she's wearing it like, oh, it's a joke, And I'm like, okay, let's. And I had a stock, a Macmillan stock, I think, and it had a bipod EXT on the end of it. I'm like, okay, check it out, wham, and I hit Mrs. Rex right over the hard hat.
Really?
Unscripted. It was a good thing they sent that in. I appreciate that, you guys, looking out for me and the wife. Gosh darn it. That was a close one.
That's the fun thing about live streams, though, is anything can happen.
You never know what could anything could happen. A flying saucer could land right there, right now. And then we'd all have to get Western, right? Did you have fun shooting, though?
Yeah, it was a blast, man.
Yeah. So what pistol are you shooting, man?
The Glock 19.
Which flavor?
Generation 3.
Generation 3 G19. And he has the new sights on there, the big dot sights. And everyone's, oh, look at the big dot sight, big dot, this, big dot, that. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Just sights are for girls. And so then I'm wearing my sunglasses at twilight and I can't see anything outside. And so I'm practicing like dark shooting, right? Because usually bad guys come out in the dark. That's because they're scared of the sun, you know what I mean? And being seen doing bad things. And so it wasn't super dark, but it was dark with these things on, you know what I mean? And so I'm shooting my Generation 2 Glock 19 with the regular Trijicon 3 dots. And I'm hitting stuff, and it's kind of slow. You have to, like, find what the heck's going on. And I'm just kind of pointing the top of the pistol at it, and we're shooting the plate or whatever, running around, throwing magazines everywhere. And then, so I'm like, hey, let's switch pistols. And I'll tell you what, I'm actually converted now. That stupid thing is awesome. Like, if you can't, like, in the dark, man, that giant dot right there, I mean,
foolproof.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, way faster. And by the way, I don't even own a pair of big dot sights. I don't have any of them.
Not yet.
They didn't pay me any money. They didn't give me any gold bars. They didn't feed me any lasagna, and they didn't give me any Yukon Jack at all. Right, Lou? You're the one with the big dots.
You got to pay the piper, man.
I'll tell you what, but that's why those guys run them things, I guess. Anyone do like low light? Any of you guys do like low light pistol training? Because that's actually when shooting happens. Usually, is in the low light. it's probably a good idea, but it's also kind of sketchy. Like I know cops do it all the time. Highway patrol guys like do a lot of night shooting. Military obviously practices at night all the time because that's like most of your engagements are in the dark nowadays, right? Because if you have thermal and really good night vision and they don't, you will win every time, right? But so it's good to fight in the dark, I think, or learn to. It's very bad to fight in the dark. It's very good to learn how to do it in case maybe you get stuck in one of them deals. So, anyways, yeah,
Good practice, though.
yeah, it's really good practice. I could see because the target and we took all the paint off that little steel guy. What do they call them things?
Silhouette.
Yeah, it's what rich people shoot at. AR 500 steel on an actual hanger instead of like trash can lids or like pop cans or like Mountain Dew bottle thrown out there. When I was a kid, we had to shoot at empty shotgun shells and rocks because we couldn't afford them targets. Couldn't shoot at paper or nothing like that. Anyways, so we had the AR 500 steel out there, but I could barely see the silhouette at all. And I mean, you guys, there's enough of us out there. It was a safe, controlled environment for me to run around with my sunglasses on in the dark. And it was awesome though. But like with the big dot, I actually could see where that front sight was. Otherwise, all a guy could see was kind of like a little bit of a lighter spot on the top half of the slide of the G19 where it kind of was reflecting like as the sun was setting and the moon's coming up behind us kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? Like just, okay. And then I get that on the base of the target and just, empty it. And then we're doing all this kind of ninja stuff or whatever. It was fun. But I'll tell you, the big dot sights actually work pretty good, don't they?
They do. They do.
Can you guys hear us okay? Is this microphone working okay?
Picking everything up.
The raspberry. See, if I do a review on it, then there's certain things that can happen. So that's why I do that. The raspberry is working good so far, guys. The review on the raspberry blue. The raspberry blue. Oh, what else did we do? Oh, so you had the Generation 3 Glock 19 with the big dot sights. I had the Generation 2 Glock. One thing that I forgot about, and it's why I remember now that I'm going back to the Gen 2 from the Gen 3, is my grabbers don't work all the time because they got neuropathy and stuff, like muscles twitch and like my thumb can't go down like this. So like there's a lot of stuff like releasing the slide catch deal, like not even under adrenaline, but it's just way better just to just smack it with your other hand, you know what I mean? Grab it, and caveman that sucker. But like I literally can't drop those megs out on a Gen 3 Glock. The button's too tiny and the spring's too powerful. I mean, you guys seen, I could get the mag out pretty fast, but not as fast as I can with that's where the Gen 4 is actually kind of nice. It's almost too big of a button, maybe, in my opinion, on the Gen 4 Glocks. It's a huge, nice button. But the Gen 2 is the right balance for me. I ain't going to accidentally drop out my mag, but I can definitely knock it out of there.
I really didn't realize how small the mag release was on the Gen 3 until I shot your 2 today.
Is it smaller, or is it just a weaker spring?
It's smaller. It doesn't protrude as far.
I mean, we got an audience over here, so we're going to pull our pistols out of our holsters and look because they're hot. But we'll check later and tell you guys, okay? So how you got? Oh, who else? And then our compadre back here was shooting his Beretta 92. The Beretta 92 has not gone out of style. And so he was running around one-handed, boom, 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 like moving and shooting, and it was we're getting pretty Western out here outside the shed. Is this the same shed where you used to live, Casey?
No, I lived in a different shed. So
The shed you lived in wasn't this nice, was
no, actually, so this is a way nicer shed than the shed I lived in. I lived in a shed where there was birds in the walls.
This is actually a true story.
This is a true story. I lived in a shed with birds in the walls, and my roommate was a pig, a real live potbelly
So you lived
pig.
in a barn.
Well, it was a shed, though.
A shed barn.
It was it wasn't even
What
a
the hell do
barn.
you
It
call
was a
that?
shed.
That's a barn,
it? A
right?
sty.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah,
Serious.
I lived that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I drove by the place in real life and actually looked at it and said, "Huh, it's a true story."
It's a true story.
FPS Iron says that he was actually born in a chicken coop.
Were
Really?
you?
Yeah,
So we
Hardcore,
could
man.
get along.
How old is he? FPS Iron?
that's the guy's handle on there, yeah.
Dude, how old are you approximately? You can tell us, man.
You can tell.
I want to know. Because that's pretty hardcore. I was born in a hospital. I was lucky.
I mean, I was born in a hospital, but then I was raised in a.
She was raised in his...
16.
16.
He's 16 years older in 1916? Really?
69?
Oh, okay.
That's a different
Oh,
guy.
different guy.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I don't know. Yeah, being born in a chicken coop, that's what they call unsanitary conditions, probably.
That would be a
Especially if
tough
there's
one.
chickens in there.
But you know what? I bet your immune system is kicking butt today.
Probably.
That's what I say about all the crazy stuff
Yeah.
coming up. I'm like, oh, my.
No, that's how you
my
get
immune
actual
system's
immunity
kicking
is
butt.
being in a bunch of filth when you're a kid. Eating dirt. You ever eat dirt, Lou?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember like at weddings, like after like the dance started getting boring, you go up behind like the dance hall in some small town, you're like digging through the dirt where they're excavating for the building next door, and you're like in your like suspenders and your dress clothes just full of dirt, like digging a tunnel, like tunnel ratting, eating clay and stuff like that.
Oh boy.
Is this too revealing? Should we not be talking about this?
I mean, we can talk about it. I'm not.
But
too
from a
worried.
biology point of view, that's a very good way actually to gain immunity from various things, because kids are tough as hell. And if they're eating dirt, if they're eating worms, like I ate worms and bugs when, little kids playing in the yard. Back in the old days when kids were allowed to play in the yard and it wasn't illegal to just let them in the backyard unsupervised, where they could drive their tricycle around the block without an escort, or they would be turned in by the CPS or some deal like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Or get sick and die. What did we say the other night? What doesn't kill you makes you weirder.
Or get sick and die.
Or get sick and die.
Survival of the fittest.
Drink from
All
the
right.
hose. Yeah, we drank from the hose. I drank
You know what I realized the other day? That if I want to be a true biologist, I have to be evil.
Oh.
Yeah. Survival of the fittest, man. If that's my truthful, because I am like, we went to college together. I'm a science guy, right? I was thinking about it. I'm like, nature is like really freaking hard. You know what I mean?
In the elements, in its raw and natural state, man.
Like its natural mechanisms, there's no mercy, man.
No, nature's a cruel mistress.
And like, if you're in the shopping lane at the grocery store, and there's like the old lady who's gonna grab the last can of the kind of lasagna you want, and you're like, if you're a true superior, according to the biology textbook, if you erase morality out of it and the God part of it out of there, and there's the reptilian, the mammalian, and then the frontal cortex, where like people can like have different layers of thought and stuff like that. But if you're just going true survival of the fittest, you just knock the old lady out of the way and grab the lasagna and say, and then run off and eat the lasagna. And then she can starve because she's not as fit as you, and therefore you win. And so that's morality according to the science book. And I'm a scientist, so I get it. But I'm just saying that maybe the reason why we invented spaceships and all that stuff is because we chose a different path.
Yep.
The higher road. And we began to value things like human experience, collective experience, like collective knowledge, like letting Grandpa tell us stories so you can hear how all the stuff, like the full download of the dynamic information, so that we can have technology and stuff. This is what we have that podcast for. Hey, you remember the podcast? We are going to upload one of them pretty soon. I got one in the hopper. A podcast is in the hopper. I just need to hit go. What the problem is, we all have jobs and stuff. And so, like, I'm driving all over, like, doing stuff. And then these guys are, like, working their butts off and surviving the earth and all that stuff. So, forgive us for not doing the podcast as much. Maybe when the winter kicks in, we'll knock out a few for fun. But we've all been pretty darn busy, guys. But as soon as we get a chance, we will come on here and say howdy. And you can visit with us directly. How about them apples? Are you managing the commentaries, Miss Casey Day?
Sorta.
There's some good ones in there, man.
What are they talking about?
A couple guys wondering about the Sniper Uzi project.
The Sniper Uzi project is coming along. So for those of you who are uninitiated, we have the gold-plated Sniper Uzi challenge of 2018. Went very good. 0 people showed up. But out of all the imaginary Uzis that were there, it was pretty good. There's the Steven Seagal series. Mm-hmm. There's the Saddam Hussein series. And then there's the Gaddafi series. And so there's 3 classes of Uzi, because there's 3 different styles of sniper Uzis. Gold-plated. They have to be gold-plated. That's one of the things. And so I know Kelly McMillan from McMillan Stocks was participating as a sponsor of that event. And he donated an Uzi stock. We're just looking for a gold-plated Uzi now. And we're going to put a target barrel. Dude, you guys wait. I will actually do it. I'm gonna make a gold-plated sniper Uzi just because it would be awesome.
Just because we can.
we could do it. It's not hard to gold plate things. I could take the barrel down and the parts down to the motorcycle shop or wherever they gold plate stuff, or the gunsmith. You just got to put different chemicals in the tank. That's all. And then you gold plate your Uzi. And Uzis ain't that expensive, really.
No.
No, they're cheap. They're stamped metal. Who cares? Put a target barrel on there from Green Mountain, the 355 caliber. We'll get some. It'll be single shot, so you have to load it in. We'll have to figure out a way to open up the loading port somehow, so you can get like a long bullet in there. You kind of single load them. We'll use the bipod EXT and all that. We got a good plan going on.
What about the optics on the Sniper Uzi?
Oh, Hensoldt is where I was kind of leaning. The Zeiss Hensoldt, I was hoping they'd sponsor me for that. So far, they haven't returned my call. But I am developing a relationship with the regular Zeiss. I forget they separate. There's two different Zeisses, guys. There's like the Zeiss Hensoldt, and then there's like the Zeiss Sporting Optics. I think. I don't know how it works. I forgot. I was just visiting with a guy a couple weeks ago, and I forgot the story already. So that's how good I am at my job. Like, just a giant whirlwind of different items swirling around my head at any moment, like trying to remember what's what.
The whirlwind.
Hey, Rex, what do you think of the XP47 2Q Model P in the 784 Nitro Express? I'm like, what the hell? I didn't read that magazine yet. Give me 5 minutes. I'm still driving to show guys how to shoot the guns they already got. As soon as I show them how to shoot the guns they already got, then I'll learn all about the crazy calibers and new stuff like that and new accessories, okay? So, I'm sorry.
It's tough to keep up with all the new stuff, isn't it, man?
It is.
Like every week, every month, there's new calibers, there's new accessories.
Yeah, and that's fun. I'm into it, man. But that's what's timeless about what we do is if you're an enthusiast of skill sets, you learn marksmanship, the science of long-range shooting, the science of internal ballistics, all that stuff never expires. So if 27 years in the future they invent some new chassis that takes PMS or PRS or whatever shooting sports or NRL or whatever the different numbers are for these things, the different shooting things they have where they run in circles with pillows, whatever takes those guys by storm next.
I was gonna say, you better hope
I'm
PMS
gonna get kicked
never
off the
comes.
internet, bro. And we're live. I can't even edit that out.
Oh, boy.
Oh dear.
Oh, man.
Oh boy! But whatever shooting, or whatever accessories take the industry by storm. By some, there's these huge, giant like bandwagons that come around, and if you understand that baseline science, you're set. Because all you have to do is look at the stock, and you'll know within 3 seconds if it sucks or if it's good. You don't have to see how it does on the whatever. You'll know the science. You'll be like, the bedding is not going to have contact here. Here's your wiggle point here and here. Here's the axis of recoil. Here's where the thing is, and it's going to suck. Yep. Or, wow, this is a good design. It's good rigidity here. It's got full contact here. The lug is like this, If you understand the actual science, it's timeless, priceless. Goes on for all eternity as long as they're shooting things that have recoil on them. When they invent laser beams, then we'll do total free recoil all the time.
That'll be a difference.
Because there's no recoil on a laser beam, I don't think. At least not. Maybe electrical recoil in the battery. I wonder how that would work. In Star Wars, they recoiled.
Yeah, they did.
But they were based on the old German designs. A lot of those guns the stormtroopers had. Like Mauser broom handles and stuff like that. So maybe they're, I don't know. All right. How you guys doing tonight?
Rex scope question. I'm not sure what your Rex scope question was. I missed it.
Oh, no. What's the Rex scope question?
We're supposed to make amends with Canada for some reason, though.
I'm sorry, Canada.
Sorry, Canada. We love you. German laser gun.
I'm almost Canadian, so it's okay.
Put in a snow
Very
mountain.
close. Like, if you're looking at a globe, I'd be this far. Up here in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, in this shed we're in.
I'm looking.
There's some.
What did one snowman say to another?
Yeah.
What did one snowman say to another? What'd they say? Not everyone's going to be able. What would they say? What was the answer? Is it bad?
They said nice balls.
All right.
Okay.
All right. You got any
I
good questions,
don't
Dylan?
hate Canadians.
We don't forget.
Did I say I don't like Canadians? I'm sorry. If
Actually,
I
I
said that.
will admit, from what I hear, JTF2 is the finest long-range precision guys in the world in terms of killing bad guys. So that's pretty awesome. So my respect to the Canadian snipers.
Damn right.
But we're gonna beat you again, and then you'll have to beat that record. Then we'll see who is cool for the next 5 minutes.
Chippewa Falls, grab a Leinenkugels.
Leinenkugels. What's your favorite Leinenkugels?
Honey Weiss.
Honey Weiss? How about you? Oh,
What, me?
yeah.
Creamy dark.
There's people
Oh,
over here too. What is it?
Creamy dark.
Creamy dark. I always liked what's the sunset wheat? Is that Leinenkugels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Sunset wheat. A very, very good Leinenkugels beer. For those who partake in the sinful nature of the brewskis, forgive me. All right, what's our next question?
What would you recommend for a setup for my 11-year-old daughter? She's outgrown her 22.
I'm sorry, who outgrown what now?
11-year-old daughter outgrew 22.
223.
223.
That's your next step
That's
up.
next, yeah.
I would get like a target rifle configuration or like even a lightweight one. Just like a hunting weight rifle or something. And a 223. They have a lot of like if you go with Tika or Savage, some of those models have adjustable cheek pieces. That's going to be very important for someone who's still growing, and adjustable length of pull. So if you can find a stock design with that feature, that might be a good deal. You know what I'm talking about? So look, there's all kinds of new stuff that comes out every day. But I would say like a 223 is a great caliber. It's universally available. There's no recoil. You can almost kill deer with it, or you can kill deer with it if you're really good at aiming and use the exact right bullets. But that'll definitely get you into the center fire category, and it'll teach them. Then you incrementally work your way up. It's been killing bad guys since 1965, in the M16. So, and the M4s and the M whatever the hell they're on now. I don't even know.
Pretty cool when your 11-year-old daughter, though, outgrows the 22.
Nope,
Yeah,
that's
that's
good.
really good.
That's good.
What else is going on?
I'm gonna wait here. Hi.
I don't know if he's giving me a secret signal back there or not.
For
It's like what's happening? Like, start like.
Right. I lost it. Okay, so for single stage application, thoughts on trigger tech design?
So on a single stage, my favorite single stage, I'm going to be honest with you guys, is actually the Jewel. That's my favorite single stage trigger. I think the Jewel is hard to beat in the single stage. However, my favorite trigger overall for precision rifle shooting applications in big calibers, if you can get one in a Remington 700 type configuration, is the Huber 2-stage. That's my favorite one of them. My favorite trigger for battle, if I have an M4 laying in the seat of the car, is going to be the 9-pound mil spec. Maybe what's the chrome one that's a little bit nicer made, like a mil spec trigger, because it's configured for. You got to use a trigger for whatever the application is, guys. So that's the big deal. But for single stage applications, if you're a target shooting guy and you need the smallest groups possible, and you don't mind like kind of a maybe dangerous type deal when that sucker's locked and loaded, a single stage trigger, you can lighten them up. I got a 2-pound Jewel on my big heavy 308 that I use for target shooting. And I love it, but they're a little dangerous though. If you smack it on the stock real hard, if you slap it upside the butt, too hard, it'll go off, man.
I gotta read this question here. G. Lewis is wondering if I'm a better shooter than Lou, and I just want to point out that I've always been a better shooter than Lou. Just kidding.
Actually, I bet you might be a better shooter than me on the rifle now.
Oh, what?
Females have an advantage. They actually do. Biologically speaking, they can control their biology better than males can.
Yeah,
in
that's
subtle
right.
ways.
I control my biology like ain't nobody's business.
Oh, all right, remind me not to encourage her next time. Getting a little big for your britches there, sister. But no, females generally have a little bit more control over fine motor skills. That's why for thousands of years they were doing arts and crafts and like weaving baskets and stuff like that because they could actually, do that. And the guy was like, "Argh!" Like wrestling with stuff and punching things in the face and whatever that's like carrying boulders to like stack to build a giant castle to surround your family so the barbarians wouldn't eat them. Yeah. So there's different biologies. So when it comes to like very fine motor skills, females have a little bit better biological control. Also, they listen better than dudes do when it comes to marksmanship training. Because dudes can never, it doesn't work for me. I have my own way. It's like, okay, continue with the old way, man. But no, most guys who come to our classes are actually really good and open-minded. That's why they attend training. But in general, yeah, it's just a thing. Like females listen better than dudes because dudes have to pretend because of the Y chromosome that we already know that stuff. All dudes are automatically Schwarzenegger. It's our job, right? Mm-hmm. It's also how you do the mating dance.
That's your mating
What
dance?
you looking at, bro? What do them guys do at the bar? That's that thing they do where they puff up their chest. I forgot how to do it. Hold on.
Get out of the way.
Oh, he's puffing up.
What you looking at, sucker? I don't know how they do it.
Squaring up.
I have no idea how they do it.
Isn't it called like bow up? You want to bow up? I heard that one.
Yeah, bowing up.
Bowing up.
Actually, I'd rather take bowing up than like some of the other stuff, but that's right, man. I think it's cool. It's okay to go through the mating rituals or whatever when you're a young adolescent little guy and you got to convince everyone how tough you are all the time. For me, I don't know. We just have fun, don't we, Lou? Usually have fun.
We really don't try to be that tough, do we?
Yeah, we don't need to try to be tough. We are the tough guys, right, Lou?
Yeah. I don't know about
that. What are you looking at over there? How dare you? Sorry, there's the guy over there. He's going to get him. All right, next question.
Some weird
Next
looks from
question.
the audience
I
out
know.
there.
They're like, this is getting too weird.
They just tune in. They tune in right there. It's like, what the hell?
Context
Totally
is
out of
important.
context. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. JDH wants to know if you have any advice on how to accurately measure ammunition temperature. My infrared thermometer seems inaccurate.
Yeah, so that's an interesting question, and it's a very high-level skill set question because you're really thinking about it. Actually, we talk about that at the Zero to Deadly class and the RX Live Fire and the seminar. Managing your ballistic tools and your field laboratory equipment is very, very important, and learning how to consistently operate whatever you're using into your integrated system, the way you use it, you have to do it that way every time. If one day you laser beam, let's say you're using an IR thermometer to get your ammunition temperature, because as we all know, since this 101 series came out, before that it didn't exist. Everyone said it was pretend. Oh, it's crazy. It probably doesn't exist. Remember them days, Lou? And then I'm like, hey, there's these things called chronographs. You can measure the velocity of the bullet, get hot ones and then get cold ones and then tell me how fast they go. There's multiple velocity variation for a lot of reasons. Anyways, what was the question?
How to measure your bullet temperature.
I was busy bowing up in my own way.
Bowing up.
Let them all know. What? Oh,
Bullet
infrared
temperature.
thermometer.
Yeah.
Yeah, infrared thermometer. So an infrared thermometer, it's a little laser beam. It's in a gun-shaped deal. Looks like a stapler kind of. And you meep, and it'll give you a thing. But the problem is you got shiny rifle cases. The shiny rifle case reflects the laser beam, and it'll get an adjacent material's temperature reading. So what you do is I like to get a really soiled case, like a nasty, ugly, where it's not polished brass, where it's dirty. And then I have that in every one of my ammo boxes, and then that's my representative of all the other rounds and how warm they are. And I'll pull that little guy out and I'll hit it, beep, and then it'll be more consistent. What's probably happening is your laser beam's bouncing off that shiny brass and hitting somewhere else. Some guys like to color on the back of it with crayons. You can do that, and it'll give you a better reading. But then you get this whole problem of crayons being in your firing pin hole. It's not helpful. You know what I'm saying? For that whole situation. And so anyhow. That's my opinion.
Color within the lines, then.
Yeah, color within the lines, or just have a dirty cartridge that you use, and or you can how you manage it. Yeah, and you also have to take into effect, guys. It'll vary so much. For example, at the last class we did, there's so much to be learned at these classes. We did RX 1000, formerly known as the RX Live Fire, RX 17 and 18. The curriculum is totally a whole different animal. It's It's like evolved like 10 steps since then. But we have a part where we talk about managing ballistic tools effectively because there's so many different ballistic tools, measurement equipments, thermometers, anemometers, like apps, all the different stuff, how you carry it. One guy carries a Kestrel in a shirt pocket. The other guy carries it in a pouch over here. The other guy has it in his drag bag. Another guy will hang it off his tripod from his spotting scope. And if you ask all those same guys, those instruments are calibrated very precisely. They'll give you the exact temperature of the instrument. Ask them, all right, give me a temperature check, guys. Everyone yell out their temperature. It'll be like a 19-degree spread because they're managing it differently. If it's laying in the sun versus the shade, totally different story. And then if you use your ballistic calculation based on faulty information because you mismanaged your ballistic tools, you hosed all your information. And so gathering that stuff is tricky, and we show you how to do it. It's a long story, okay? So if you're shooting it and it's inconsistent, we teach you at the classes how to manage your field laboratory equipment. Because as scientists know, and we got a chemist sitting right over here who actually works full-time in the lab, laboratory procedures are important to get them right.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're sloppy, just like, close enough, like, and then like there's cumulative slop in all your inputs, it's
Like
going to suck and it's going to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're just like, So anyways, we have a whole class. We have a whole class on that deal there. How to manage your ballistic tools most effectively. So by the way, RexDefense.com is having a little bit of a facelift for phase 2 of the operation. So do stand by for that. So there will be some adjustments coming up in the near future on Rex Defense. And it'll be a little more clear too. We have a DMR class coming out next spring, guys. It's a little cryptic on how to get in on there. Basically, we're going to get you set up with what you need to take, so there's no prerequisites for the class. We'll talk about it when it comes out, but just stay tuned. We will get you situated to where you are ready for DMR, because when you come to the DMR class, it's an advanced level class, and so if you haven't had prior training, prior to the DMR, we're going to get you squared away. I got guys all over the place who are awesome at this stuff. So,
I got an interesting question here from Papa Phil Stoffer.
Yeah.
Rex, when did you figure out that mathematics was foundational to shooting?
Mathematics? Mm-hmm. Since I realized that gravity pulled the bullet downwards, and that there's air resistance,
Since
and then it
ballistics.
slows down. Since I started missing targets beyond 300 yards.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on? Well, the bullet drifted. Why? And then when I picked up our loading manual, I'm like, Pa, what's this? He's like, that's ballistic coefficient. I'm like, what's this? Sectional density. I'm like, what the heck is that? And he explained it to me. I'm like, oh, numbers are important for killing things. Okay, note to self.
Learn numbers.
There's entire cities where they got a bunch of guys together who knew about numbers and stuff like that. And like in Tennessee, in other places where they built the bomb, and they had entire cities with scientists and their families, and they all got together and made like atomic weapons and stuff like that. So if you get too carried away on your numbers, you get pretty smart on that.
Weaponized math.
He's laughing back here. What?
Sarge 605 said weaponized math.
Weaponized mathematics.
Dun, 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 dun.
They should ban math. It's too scary. In the Dark Ages, I think they kind of did, didn't they?
Did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd get beat pretty good for that deal. Ooh.
See here. Bum, bum, bum. Burris XLR2.
I get a lot of questions about that scope. It's hard for me to lay down the judgment on certain models without having enough, a big enough of a sample size to convict them of not tracking reliably. My experience with those is anecdotal at best. Not a lot of guys use them at the classes. And so I haven't had a sample size big enough for me to really get Western and start actually making fun of them. A lot of them do work really good. So I'd say in my experience, most of them work okay. And then some of them completely poop the bed is what they say, right? Yeah. Is that the proper terminology, Lou?
Poop in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a good question.
Yeah, but
over
it's
here.
all, all those scopes are made like in the same places, by the way. Or a lot of them are. And so it's not like it's a different scope than like a different brand that has a whole different deal. It's just the quality control as they come in. Is there people checking them to make sure they work properly? Do they have collimators? Do they have, like Night Force gets all their stuff in from Asia and they assemble it with guys that know what they're doing. And then they check everything and custom fit everything and make sure it works. That's why Night Force has such a good reputation of quality, is because the dudes actually check to make sure it works before they put it in the box. That's the trick. And so scopes that cost less money, they either can't afford to hire the right people or enough people to do that all the time. Yeah.
So I have to ask this question because I think it's kind of hilarious. I want to see your answer.
Oh, dear Lord.
So Ballista, nice name, asks, Rex, what would be the maximum effective range of a 12.5-inch 308 barrel with a 1 in 10 twist, 600 yards, 500 or 600 yards?
Huh?
I don't know why he gave you
Depends on your
multiple choice.
atmospherics, and it also depends on how stupid you are. No, I'm sorry.
Depends on how shitty your fundamentals are.
I'm just teasing. No. I've engaged a lot of things with short-barreled rifles. Like I shoot my Mark 18 with a 10.3-inch barrel all the time at hundreds and hundreds of yards. I shoot them at 500 to 600 yards. So it can totally be done. It's a matter of marksmanship, but really what's going to limit your bullet's effectiveness typically is this max supersonic range, which is contingent on the atmospheric density, which is, altitude, barometric pressure, temperature, all that kind of stuff. So it depends on your loads and your marksmanship ability, and there's like 9,000 things that depends on. But I would say 500-ish. Probably, with one of them short-barreled 308 kind of situations. A 308, even with a full-length barrel, kind of runs out of gas around 800 or 900, right? So 400 or 500 yards with a pistol-length barrel. And the cartridge configuration is such that it burns a little faster powder. It's not as critical for barrel length as some other cartridges are. But, there you go.
All right. If you can...
I was just teasing about the stupid part, Lou.
I know.
I was just saying.
I hope they know.
I was trying to be cool again. What do they call it? Bowing up?
Yep.
Oh, bow up.
Bowing up, bowing up. Not blowing up, bowing up.
Bowing up.
Yeah. We have a different style around here.
Yes, we do.
Grand Illusion wants to know, you can only have 3 handguns for Red Dawn. What are they?
Okay, so I'm going to go with stuff where you're going to find ammo and magazines. So a Glock 19, okay, because that's universal. Probably a Glock, like one of the 40 caliber ones, I would probably even do a 27 or a 23, because you can use any of the mags because it's short enough. Although you don't recommend sticking in too long of a mag into a short-bodied Glock, like for normal applications, but you could use them. The reason for that is when you're on nitrous power from going, and you like have a magazine that's too long and you ram it in there with the slide open, you bust the button off your Glock.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? Because there's no stop. Sorry about screaming.
It's all right. No, you're good.
So, actually, and then what's the official sidearms nowadays? Actually, Glocks have been official sidearms for a long time. Like the Glock 22 is used for a long time.
Aren't the shields like up and coming because a lot of law enforcement officers want to use them for training?
Yeah, I don't think that's like I would use stuff I would do a research and find out what's the most deployed handgun. What's the most common handguns? And I'd probably get those 3 as long as they worked. So like SIG, Glock, HK, maybe a couple other ones. A couple other ones kind of work. But I would stay in those parameters.
So
Something
not like
that
a
works really
Beretta, though? You wouldn't want to...
No, Beretta is the
Just
official
kidding.
sidearm. So if this question was in 1994, I'd definitely say a Beretta 92, because that was the sidearm of like everybody. All the cops carried them. The Army guys carried them. They switched over. There's a lot of 92s being deployed still. That would actually be a good third choice. Actually, would be a Beretta 92.
There we go.
Because you would be able to find parts and stuff for it. And they're a good shooting pistol if you know how to run them.
Or maybe a 22 caliber pistol.
Red Dawn?
I don't know, for like small game and stuff.
Oh, man, you're smarter than me. That's a way better answer. Okay, so I'd go a Glock 19, and then I do a Beretta 92, just in case you have, like, everyone's deployed them. You'll find stuff for them. And then I would do, like a Ruger Mark II with the silencer on it.
Would you get any of those weird attachment things that you can put your pistol in to like make them a bigger gun?
No, I like
Have
them
you
being
seen
small.
those goofy
That's the
things
point.
they got online now for your Glocks? They got like the Glock Micro Roni. Have you seen that?
Macaroni.
Roni, that's what it is. Yeah.
It's this whole big platform, and you take your Glock and you stick it into it.
Well, some of those are cool.
Yeah, and then it turns it into like a
Like a little carbine cut into an
Yeah.
arm brace.
exactly.
Yeah, because you're gonna brace it on your arm right here. Yeah, and I don't own any. The one made by CAA actually is cool.
Oh,
It's really cute.
Okay.
It's really fun. Like it's fun, and it looks like the space gun. I actually probably am gonna buy one of them. But you just like open it up and you stick your Glock in there, and then you close it, and then you got like this
Yeah.
carbine looking thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So
all sorts of those coming.
there's a lot of them. Yeah.
Would you have a silencer on your pistols or no silencer on your pistols?
It depends on what kind of stuff you're going to be doing in Red Dawn. I think that an
Dawn!
essential piece of kit, guys, if you're in Red Dawn, you need something for sentry mitigation. Okay? So when the Russian paratroopers have taken over the local movie theater and they got Uncle Bob down there and he's getting tortured by the Russian, intelligence guys, and you're going to have to bust him out with that F-15 pilot that got shot down and Patrick Swayze and those guys. I'm telling you need to watch Red Dawn, guys. That is the old one.
I finally did watch it.
Did you? The old one?
Yeah. Yep. We watched
Pretty good
it.
movie, isn't it?
It's actually really good.
Yeah.
I actually really
So
like
now
it.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Remember when they bust everyone out of the movie theater because they get them? Yeah. So when you're doing missions like that to like liberate America from the clutches of evil Russian communist paratrooper guys that came down in your little mountain town, when that day comes, a pistol with the silencer on it is going to be really handy. Because like it's a very, very, very quiet. Like a 45 actually is a great way to go. I got a Mark 23 is what I use. A Mark 23 with a big old what is that? Accuracy. What's that thing called? Silencer on there? No, what the hell is that thing called?
that?
I don't remember which one it is. I just shoot it a lot. What is that? What's the one that's it's the Tyrant 45. And it's really quiet. It's modular. So you can like make it shorter or longer. I always use it long, but it's a very reliable weapon. The Mark 23 is like the HK USP 45 on steroids. It's a big giant brick like this. It is a crucial weapon made from Schwarzenegger, and you have like a laser aiming module on the bottom, so you can shoot people with night vision. Right? Mm-hmm. Remember that? That was fun, wasn't it? Ping. Anyways, yeah, I'd have one of them with the Tyrant 45 on there. Russians, when the Russians invade, is what we're talking about.
Someone asked if you had any beginners classes.
Yes. So we have the, here's the thing. We have 2 entry-level classes. Most of our folks that come to our seminars and our courses are hardcore rifle enthusiasts, like really, really top-notch guys already. And it's kind of a finishing school. So if you've been into like firearms and long-range shooting for a long, long time, then you could probably go to the seminar and sort of get something out of it. But it's pretty heavy, man. Like, and I forget what it's like when I first got into long range shooting, but you will learn a huge amount. Like if you drink enough coffee and then come to the seminar and you're brand new, you went to the seminar? What did you think?
It was a lot. Like for a new person, it's really hard to grasp all of it. Like I would say you'd want to have a handle on it before you go to the seminar.
Yeah, and she hangs out with me and Lou when we talk about it all the time. So she could, but as a test subject, this was our test subject right here. Pull someone off the street, out of the shed. With the birds in it. They're like, hey, bird lady from Home Alone. Or remember, what movie was that?
You need to learn how to shoot the birds out your walls.
So, hey, Casey, you're coming with us to the seminar. What would I need to be there for? You'll see. And then she goes to live fire, and she's like in the 80th percentile because we do keep track. And you did really good.
Oh,
like she was with a 308 with a 20-inch barrel, a factory Remington AAC, 20-inch barrel, 1 in 10 twist, Fiocchi ammo in an American-built arms chassis, which is very affordable. So she wasn't even running like super fancy stuff.
And the scope, what did we have on
You had a real nice scope on there.
Yeah.
An
yeah, we
IOR
did.
Veldata
Yep.
Recon, a
Yep,
really
we
good
did.
scope. Anyways, Casey Day was just slaughtering it out to like 900, and then 1,000 wasn't too hard, and then 1,100 she was like 50%, 40% hit rates.
Yeah.
With a 308 and a 20-inch barrel out of a cheap factory rifle. That's really good.
At 1100,
and that's the person
bullet
off the
was
street
like...
going through the seminar to the live fire. Mind you, that's really heavy. If you are truly a beginner and you want to learn marksmanship, the organic way to learn this stuff is like when your grandpa takes you out. All right, let's go out there and shoot the rifle. Zero to deadly is kind of constructed to learn it in a more kinesthetic, organic way, in a way that is received. And it's not that it's a beginner's course. Like I guarantee you, like a lot of the guys who went to that class are really good, like really accomplished, like marksmen, like guys who are hardcore competitors, or that, they got a lot of tactical experience and things like that. And after that course, they walked away saying, holy smokes, there's a lot more going on when it comes to precision rifle marksmanship than we realized. So Zero to Deadly is a great place to start. And then when you get to the seminar, you'll know what questions to ask, and because you'll have seen it in the field. Because we show you the subtleties of marksmanship. Marksmanship is usually the biggest problem in general when it comes to long-range shooting. That's the foundation of the entire castle. So Zero to Deadly focuses in on marksmanship. And it's not like your standard, like, okay, guys, hold the gun into the shoulder and look at there and shoot the gun, It's not one of them deals. It's pretty darn hardcore. We zoom in on the micro scale and look at the internal ballistics. We do basically day one of the seminar. What happens at the seminar, we talk about internal ballistics, muzzle velocity variation, firing position analysis, all that weird stuff. Exactly how your bipod leg is touching it. Exactly like where your cheek pressure versus hand pressure versus shoulder. All that stuff, how to manage the weapon effectively, is done. It's a field seminar.
That's a good way to put it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, honestly, too, I think if you do the Zero to Deadly and you're brand new...
Yeah, because she actually did that first, too,
Yeah.
so she had a head start.
I think that helps everything kind of set in when you get into, like, the actual seminar, because if you've never...
Even laid behind a rifle?
Even been... you're going to not have a clue what they're talking about.
Don't forgive me, I forgot that you actually started with Zero to Deadly.
Yeah.
So I took Casey Day out and Mrs. Rex and some other friends, and we did the video called Zero to Deadly. And basically, we just walked Casey Day through her first 3 rounds ever in her whole life with a rifle. Ever.
Yeah. No,
Has she ever shot ever? Not even kidding, right?
Yeah, no, ever.
Never shot anything out of a rifle.
I shot one sort of rifle before that. It wasn't even a rifle. What was it? I don't know, but I cried.
Airsoft gun?
I cried. So
like a
this
shotgun,
was like
or
the
what was
first real actual experience.
We laid her down with the scope rifle, and she had 3 shots, and we micromanaged the 3 shots, and she got 1 minute of angle in her first 3 shots at 100 yards. No problem. So that 1 minute of angle is what like you need to do to pass like the FBI sniper qualification. You know what I mean? So like you're set. Or like, I mean, that's like actually pretty good. 1 minute of angle is really good shooting. And smaller than that's better. But 1 minute of angle ain't bad. And so Zero to Deadly gets you there. And so I would say that the most organic way, if you're a beginner, would be Zero to Deadly. And then after that, that actually is, so there's going to be 2, the way we're structuring classes for the future is the 2 entryways are going to be Zero to Deadly and the seminar. If you're already like a super hardcore, like fanatic, like reloading, doing ladder testing for 40 years, kind of like rifle aficionado, then just come to the seminar. But actually, a lot of those guys are surprised at this Zero to Deadly too, because it's like, what? Like, did you realize that? I mean, there's so much subtleties to it. Actually, I would take both, honestly, because like then you're going to miss out if you don't take the Zero to Deadly and then you get to the seminar. All the guys that took that are going to be knowing what I'm talking about when they start talking about firing position analysis. Like the way exactly you touch or don't touch the rifle will change you by that much from your point of impact at 100 yards. No problem. Yeah. So we show you how to do that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I think, like, and this is just from my personal experience, but I think if you have laid behind a gun before, you could probably get in the seminar and you'll be okay. If you
and you can go back and forth. You can go to the seminar to the Zero to Deadly. That's cool.
Absolutely.
Some guys did that. Yep.
This guy wants to know where he can buy a class at.
Rex Defense is what you would Google. Rex Defense. Google Rex Defense. You find the website. It has a big dinosaur head on there, and it has pictures of like us guys on there. And so it's just navigate your way through there, find the class. Some of the classes that are on there are from like a couple weeks ago. So I am looking to get that all squared away. We're working on it right now. The website's going to be a bit different here in about a month or so, or maybe a little sooner than that. But the classes and the links to the classes are still all valid. That's all going to be a seamless transition. If you've already purchased this ticket, there's not going to be any overlap problems or nothing like that. Also, I do apologize to anyone who's been on the email communications. It's like I've been on the road for like a month and a half. I just got back and I'm still catching up on emails from like 3 months ago. So, hold on. Last time I checked, it was 15,284 emails. Seriously. I'm not trying to be cool. I'm just kidding. And that's actually like an excuse that I'm sorry I didn't catch up with your email yet. So I'm not trying to be cool. I'm just saying like I'm sorry about the emails.
Our buddy Sean was wondering what the crappiest scope someone has ever brought to a class.
What was that?
Crappiest scope anyone ever brought to a class?
There was one that was not very good. What was that?
I mean, there's scopes that break. Even a good scope will break. I had a Schmidt & Bender PM2 that I froze when it was 20 below or whatever it was, and I turned to magnification, and then it turned into the crappiest scope I ever saw because the picture went from this to like that, and that scope cost $3,500. What was that?
I think what he was getting at though is like on the spectrum of what he can get away with and still be able to shoot in the class.
Oh, the long way around the barn.
Did anybody show up with a whirlwind?
Yeah.
That's what they want to know.
No, people show up with the whirlwind scopes. A lot of them do fine, I'd say, and it's consistent with what I've observed in my own testing and what I've compared with my compadres who do testing other places. But I would say, man, the cheapest scopes that come are usually the fixed 10 power SWFAs, and they usually work good. Once in a while, in the last few years, I don't know what happened over there. Once in a while, one will completely not work. Like, it'll just be all over the place. It won't track. It'll bounce everywhere. They're broke. The variable power is more so than the fixed, but still, some of the fixes are even breaking. But so that's the cheapest ones that come. We haven't had a lot of problems. To be dead honest, most people, by the time they come to the live fire, have been through the seminar or Zero to Deadly. And so they know what they need to have in a scope. And so they come with tier 1 stuff. Like some of the other helpers I have come in and help train, like they're like, holy smokes, like these classes, your guys are squared away. Like they don't have equipment issues. I'm like, I know, that's because like they watched 101 videos that were an hour long a piece, plus 300 other reviews, and they're into this stuff. And so they know what scopes not to bring by the time they get to the class. And if you don't know what scopes those are, I can come up with some suggestions and price ranges that I'll try to post those someplace, okay, on rexreviews.org. Or you can watch my videos on the 101 series. Go back. For those of you that don't know, I made this series on YouTube a long time ago. It was the 101 series. It was originally called Long Range Precision Shooting 101. But on the thing, you couldn't read it because it would erase the whole second half off, right? So I had to truncate it down to Sniper 101, which is kind of where we went anyways when we ended up at the Combat Command Fire class last week, which was the original goal anyways. Playing sneaky guys. Man, that was fun. We had like drones and stuff, like attacking guys out there. Like it was fun, man. We had like thermal and all kinds of fun stuff. And we had some really good spotters at the Combat Command Fire. It's a field training exercise course. It was so awesome that we're actually going to do another one next year. We're only going to probably do one a year though. And the prerequisite for that is going to be either Zero to Deadly or a live fire. But we got to see you shoot before you can come to that deal. We got to know that you got your ducks squared away, not to shoot, because it's a little dangerous if you're sneaking around in the bushes with a rifle and we don't know who you are, or if we don't know you can shoot. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was it's a field training exercise. So yeah, we had a lot of fun.
How about U.S. Optic Scopes?
I like U.S. Optics, man. U.S. Optics won my heart back in the old days when you had to fill in the paper forms and they'd custom build you a scope. That's when they won my heart. Okay. And then they kind of went to the ST10 series and the SN series and all these deals where they're kind of pre-configured, and they were awesome. Like you could still get the ergo focus or the side focus or whatever you wanted. Then they went to the ER series, and now I think they're in the B series. And I don't have a lot of experience on the B series. And honestly, like most of my experience is on the old stuff, like from back in the day. Like an ST10, if you can find one on eBay or something like that, or Amazon or Gunbroker. It's a fixed 10 power scope for around 1,000 or less. Those things are really, really tough scopes. If you break one, I'll buy you a lollipop. Well, not unless you have the hammer or something like that.
What would you recommend for Australia as far as scopes? He said can't get a lot of the scopes you get in the US like SWFA.
I don't know. I don't know what's available in Australia. You'll have to check out the reviews that are abroad and on the channel, and all our stuff is projected for everyone who's into sportsmanship and learning about scopes. So check out the reviews, man. I don't know what's available in Australia. I got a friend there. I could ask him. He manages or helps out or runs or he works at a big gun store in Australia. And I don't know, because I know a lot of that stuff now is kind of regulated, I think. What can be exported from the United States, some of that's fallen under some kind of regulation.
Good evening, Rex. How do you feel about Nikon FX1000 as far as a budget buy?
Nikon FX?
Yes.
I'm not familiar with that particular model, but in general, I have a few recommendations that will be awesome. Okay, you guys ready for this? Just real concise. You guys want the concise answers?
Let's do it.
All right, give me a price bracket. Now, this is for the application. This is not for deer hunting. This is not for F-class shooting where you're shooting at a fixed distance on a piece of paper. That would be a different answer. This is not for, there's different styles of shooting, which will need different things. Different kinds of vehicles like pickup trucks or race cars require different tires, right? So with that in mind, we are talking about tactical scopes for precision rifles like bolt action. Long range shooting, we're going to be using the turrets and the reticles for shooting targets at long range precision shooting style. Okay, give me a price range.
They said $200.
$200. Your only choice that I'm aware of for $200 that'll even kind of sort of work if you're going to spin your dials around is the old Bushnell Elite straight 10 power. They used to actually have those on the Beretta. What was it? The single shot Beretta 50 calibers. That's one of the scopes they came with.
Really?
They're a $200 scope. That'll work. It'll probably break if you after a while, but send it back and they'll fix it.
What about $850?
So let's work our way up. So $200. Burris straight 10 power Elite. If you got $300, SWFA straight 10 or straight 12, a fixed power scope. If you got $300. If you got $800, oh man, some of that new stuff like by Primary Arms, Athlon is actually catching up pretty good. So I have to reevaluate my position and update my scope review videos because the market pressure since long range precision shooting got out of control in America again, which is awesome. I love it. But since the market pressure has been in the correct places, like where people start paying attention to the tracking, precision, and reliability of scopes, there's a lot more stuff now that is better. So in that $1,000 and less category, the Primary Arms Platinum series is very reliable. I just tested some Athlon Aris, which is actually made in China, but it's incredibly precise adjustments. So that's where I would go on the $1,000. Or if you can get a US Optics ST10 used someplace, something like that. IOR Valdata makes some stuff for $1,000. But honestly, some of the Chinese stuff and some of the Japanese stuff is catching up with Europe very quickly, which is actually, I know the full story, by the way. We'll talk about that on the next live stream. Ask me, guys, on the next live stream, or maybe I'll talk about it on the review. I should probably stop tapping the table with the microphone on it, huh? Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, ask me the story of, I know the inside info on why all of a sudden China is catching up and why Japan is catching up, what they're doing. How these companies in America are executing good quality control from places that typically have been kind of behind. I know the story.
Dun, 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 dun.
To be continued.
Oh, so that was $1,000, okay? If you got $2,000, guys, now you're in that like really good scope kind of price range. Like you can start getting into like a Steiner. If you can find a Steiner military scope or even a T series, those are really good. If you got $2,500, you'd be crazy not to buy a Schmidt & Bender PM2 because Euro Optics now has them on sale. They used to be $3,700. Now they're like $2,300 because they're juggling around their marketing or something like that. So I'd grab a Schmidt & Bender's always kind of been the king in terms of precision and stuff like that. If you want to get radical for ELR applications and you need a huge range of adjustment and you want absolute robustness and maximum glass quality, then the new generation 40 millimeter IOR Valdata scopes are really, really hard to beat. But that's kind of a specialized application. So like the Recons and the Crusaders are my favorites from there. The IOR Valdata Recons and Crusaders.
Solid.
Somebody wants to know when that primary arms review is going to be out.
Which primary arms review? I got a few of them
The
coming
one that
out.
you filmed yesterday.
Oh, the one I filmed yesterday? Actually, I did 2 of them yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah. I've been using the BPR reticle for like a long time. Like, I like to use the stuff a lot. So I'm going to be doing the Platinum series. It's a 6-30 by 56 34 millimeter main tube scope with a ballistic precision reticle. It's a bunch of holdover dots basically, and but it's configured nicely and spaced apart to where it's not like super like not totally obstructing your view of the target area. So we got the review on that coming out. I just finally did the final tracking confirmation after shooting a lot of rounds through it and beating the crap out of it. Also, I got my guys who actually shoot a lot running the same deal to battle-proof them. And so far, they're good. So the Platinum, the Predator, that's a 1-6 scope, totally different. That's using the ACSS reticle. It's a ballistic drop compensation reticle designed for varmint hunting. That will be coming out. I'm going to be gone here for the next couple weeks again, guys, so I'm not going to be pumping out reviews left and right. But as soon as I can start editing, the editing season is approaching, isn't it, Lou?
Yes, it is.
That's when there's like 6 feet of snow and it's 40 below zero. And I go, yeah, I ain't going shooting right now. I'm going to edit videos from the last year. So winter is my editing season, guys. So do stand by for those reviews. I also did test the Axion devices. They're like a baby Charlie Terac. They pop up. And then they give you like a second zero. Also, I got the Charlie Terac review coming out. I would really like to get some more time on that, though, because it's such a neat device. And I've been showing it off and showing it all over the place at all the different classes. And we've been using it and playing with it and letting everyone get to see it and stuff like that. But what I need to do is a lot of my evaluation process is me figuring it out, me playing with it. Then comes the video documentation process, which is a real bastard, because then you got to have someone else out there shooting with you who wants to be there all day running the camera, and they have to know what they're doing, or the video review sucks. And there can't be wind. So like, I could get video reviews every day if you wanted, but the wind's going to be like this.
Oh my god, you probably just blew out
There's a lot.
speakers.
Yeah, there's a lot of slobber on that microphone now, Lou. So be careful with that. Did I just turn the volume down? Are we still here?
You just broke everything.
I don't know. Hopefully you guys are still there. Can you still hear me?
My phone is broke, yeah. Way to go.
You saw me reaching for it. But that's
You
the
were
exact
warned.
sound of every review I would do 90% of the time if I just, Rex, go film that review for us right now. You only have 4 days to do it. Like, yeah, okay. And here's the, it's just going to suck. Like, you're not going to hear the target getting hit. You're not going to see anything. The camera actually blows over. My camera blew over again, not yesterday, but the day before on the range. And those cameras are expensive, man. Every time my camera blows over on a tripod, and the legs are wide, man. I get them legs wide. The camera tips over and breaks. That's $500 gone right there. Then I like to review stuff when it's not a 700 mile an hour wind. If
So-
it's less than 10 miles an hour, you can almost hear. But in order to do a review in the field where you can talk in the field and show stuff and hear the clicks and enjoy the nature sounds, and to do a proper outside review with audio is tricky. And I know all about the dead cats you can put on the microphones and all the devices. You guys trust me. I am an expert at audio in the field where there's tornado force winds every day with a rifle trying to shoot. It sucks. There's no device invented that will make that easy, okay?
So
Except for a cardboard box. That actually works good. But then then your microphone blows away, and then it pulls on the cord and the freaking camera breaks. So it's not as simple as it looks.
So there was a question I had to laugh because I kind of know your answer, but I don't think it'll be what they expect.
I'm ready.
But what company has the best warranty on their equipment, or their best policy as far as...
Okay, there's some companies that have really good warranties. A few of them are actually Vortex is one company that has an incredible warranty. That's kind of their spiel, is their warranty. They have really good customer service. They're actually very innovative and responsive to the market in terms of what customers want in terms of features and stuff like that. So Vortex has a good warranty. Most of your scope companies, you'd be surprised, guys. Like if your scope actually breaks, or like if you get it and like you turn it 10 mils and it only goes 5, if you send it back, like those Beretta XTRs or whatever you guys are talking about, that happens a lot. Just send it back and they'll send you another one. And then you'll shoot it and it'll break, and then just send that one back.
Just keep sending it back.
Eventually you'll land on one that works. No, I'm serious. So you'll get a scope that works. I've done it before. You know how many PSTs I've had? A lot. And I've observed even more. And so that review is still in the making. We're trying to get enough footage. I'm a horrible person. But no, there some companies have really good warranties. I think any of the modern stuff coming, like any of the stuff that's made in Asia, which is basically any of your over-the-counter sporting optics that you can find at the gun store, okay? Any of that stuff, if it breaks and you were to contact the company, they're going to take good care of you for the most part, okay? If it's over $100. If it's like Captain Bob's discount, what the hell was that scope I got when I was a kid? I thought it was so cool for $99. It was the High Country, 6-24. Oh yeah, it was an
Cool
offshoot
name.
of Tasco. You know, that was kind of like not quite as good as Tasco, but it had way more power than the other ones. And so you crank it up to 24 and you couldn't see anything. You could see like I was shooting at prairie dogs or something, and you could see like a blur. It was like it was 9,000 yards of mirage in between you and the thing. And it was only 100 yards away. You're like, wow, that's awesome. True story. Okay, guys.
Somebody was wondering how you broke the PM2, and somebody else said
I
you
broke two
it.
PM2s. Both of
Two
them.
PM2.
Yeah, I have two PM2s and I broke them both. But I fixed them. Well, one of them I had to ship back to Germany. That's the one. The grease will freeze in the scope. If you do extreme cold weather operations, okay, and you try to turn the parallax or the magnification knobs, don't do it. Set it before it freezes. So I usually put it on 10 power because that's a good universal power, and I'll set my parallax somewhere in that 300 to 500 yard range because that's my, where I anticipate to engage the target, somewhere in the middle of the bell curve of where you're going to have your engagements, right? So that's what I would say to do, is be careful and turn it there. But what was the question about Schmidt and Bender's breaking?
Just somebody was wondering how you did it.
Yeah, so I was in the cold, it was froze, and it wasn't turning. By the way, those giant lever deals that you can put on your magnification, because some of them are stiff. If it's stiff, don't turn it too hard. Don't get mechanical advantage over it. Like, I'll just put a cheater bar on there. This ain't the oil field, people. This is a precision instrument. It will break, guaranteed. So take her easy. If it's frozen, don't turn it. Or if it goes slow and easy on it. Maybe you'll get out of the air. The other one, I dropped it and jumped on it. And the little tactile sensation deal that pops up on the elevation double turn assembly broke. And so I had to I actually took that one apart and fixed it.
So Neil Wilkinson said, so I shouldn't shoot this winter where it will be 40 below. No, you can still shoot.
You can shoot this winter when it's 40 below if you watch the ECW video. We have a special video on extreme cold weather shooting with rifles in the tricks on how to not blow up and then tricks on how to not break your optics and get your muzzle full of snow and stuff like that. So watch the ECW video I did. Rex Reviews, I believe it's called Extreme Cold Weather Rifle Shooting or something like that. I don't remember.
And how to not trust your rifle shut either.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's important, too.
you need to watch that video if you're going to be in the 40 below. You have to watch that video. I'm telling you, it'll save you a lot of money, and you might not explode then, because you could explode if you don't watch the video. I'm just saying.
And just a comment on that. So last year we were shooting and it was colder out, and my Glock froze up because of the oil I was using. I used a really thin oil in it.
No, you were using grease. Yep.
Or I was using a grease.
So that's a good topic of discussion. So lubrication of firearms varies on temperature, obviously, right? So like in hot environments, like if you're down in the south, like axle grease works excellent on your weapons because it stays in place, and it can get really hot, like 100 degrees outside already, and then you get your gun warmed up and it's really hot. If you're running oil that's thin, it all runs out and then it's not lubricated, and then it sucks. So if you use high temperature axle grease, it stays in place and your gun stays lubricated longer, right? So that's a good way to go. However, in ultra cold climates, that stuff will freeze up, and it'll be an anti-lubrication. So what you need is like very, very, very thin oil, or something that's like proprietary. Like actually that stuff that infuses into the micropores of the metal, like that accuracy oil, actually. Some of your industrial oil field battle proven grade style cutting oils that are very thin, that will deposit like a microscopic layer. So basically you rub the super thin oil on everything, and then you wipe it all off, and you run the gun almost dry, but it's lubricated on the micro level. And then the gun feels dry, but it's very slippery still. Does that make sense?
I got you.
Yeah. That's what I do. There's lithium grease, but I mean, like that all varies. It depends how humid it is. It depends how, like, where we're from, it's it's actually drier than the Sahara Desert in the wintertime in terms of humidity. And it's freaking really cold. Like, actually, like 50 below zero. Like, that actually does happen. And you're out there shooting in it if you're during hunting season sometimes. And so that's just reality. So then you need to use kind of different techniques. So some of that super cold stuff doesn't work when it's super, 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 super cold. Antarctica cold, right?
The deep freeze.
The deep freeze.
Which is coming up soon, guys.
I'm excited.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
For the deep freeze?
Yeah, I'm going to go in there and get some of those Chinese, what are those things called?
Wontons?
Chinese, yeah. I'm
Wontons?
just joking.
Do you keep wontons in the freezer?
I don't know where those things are. The wife gets them. I don't know how. I know how to bring the food home by shooting it, and then I don't know what happens after that.
Thoughts on dry lubricants. So what?
Yeah, dry lubricants, it depends on what you're doing, guys. I mean, there's infinite variables there. That's a whole nother discussion. Actually doing lubrication reviews is like a complex topic because it depends on exactly what kind of metal you're putting it on, what the surface of the metal is, what the Rockwell hardness is, how smooth it is, what kind of machine, what kind of application, what kind of force it's going to have, and then all the properties of the lubricant and what you're trying to achieve. And so it depends on what topic you're talking about. Pistols, AR-15s, bore lubrication and rust prevention, penetration, oil. I mean, there's cutting. There's a million different applications. There's chemistry gets complicated, doesn't it? We got an actual bona fide chemist right there. I started off doing a chemistry degree, and I was like, hell with this. I ain't taking Calc 3. I got to Calc 2, and I did good, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just quit while I'm ahead. I ain't doing Calc 3. So I did other stuff then.
That's weaponized mathematics there.
Yeah, actually it is.
Quite a few questions on there about the 224 Valkyrie.
Yeah.
I know we've touched on that before.
So in a nutshell, guys, this is Rex's opinion on the 224 Valkyrie or any other proprietary cartridges. There are special purpose rounds that come out. Special purpose cartridges are developed for that special purpose, and they do really good at that. The 224 Valkyrie, I think, is best suited for competition and maybe like varmint hunting. Like if you got an AR-15 platform, I could see a lot of situations where like there's these like, you got like a multitude of tiny little targets. Like if you're one of these prairie dog hunters or gopher hunting guys, and there's like 30 of them, and the second you open fire, they're all going straight for their like cover. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta kill the whole village off of little prairie dogs before they run away. This is a horrible video. We're gonna shut it down. Like, people tune in right there. Gotta kill the whole village
Kill
off.
all of them.
Like, no, we're talking about prairie dog hunting, okay? So, wait, let's start over. All right, erase that. I didn't say nothing. I erased it all from the top. Right, we edited that part out right there. Okay. If you're varmint hunting, that's an excellent choice because you got the superior external ballistics becomes your priority in competition and in varmint hunting. Okay, external ballistics becomes your priority. However, if it's a combat deal, which is or like liberty preservation or as a weapon or as a defensive application, then your priority shifts from external ballistic performance to mechanical reliability of that weapon, which means that now the AR-15/M16 platform has been modulated and refined since 1965 to be pretty reliable. If you start changing pressure dynamics and stuff like that, and there's a lot of stuff that happens as that bolt starts to come back with the gas pressure, and then that rotates, and then there's like how the springs counterbalanced, all the stuff rubbing on the bottom. There's like 500 things going on that people don't think about. So reliability can potentially be an issue for new cartridges introduced into platforms that platform was not designed for. So the short answer is I don't like sticking new cartridges and rifles that they weren't designed for unless that gun has been proven in battle since my dad was a teenager. Okay, so I would go 5.56 in an AR-15 for any kind of defensive or combat application because all the subtleties in internal ballistics have refined that weapon to be reliable for that application. Does that make sense to you guys? Now, if you're in competition or hunting, then it's all about balancing priorities. If you don't want to die because the gun jammed, then I would go with something where it's perfectly balanced out and battle proven in every different hypothetical and realistic scenario for how long ago was 1965, bro?
A couple years ago.
Like over 50 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Right? 53 years ago or something like that? I can't do math, dude. I forgot how. And I'm tired. Anyways.
What year is it even?
What year? It's the distant future, the year 2000. We are robots.
In the year 2000.
So, 224 Valkyrie, excellent cartridge. If you're running a bolt action rifle, I think that would be awesome. It is also manageable and pretty reliable in some platforms I've been hearing on AR-15s. However, I would not use it for home defense, World War III, or Red Dawn. There's my opinion.
All right. Do you think that it is as good or better than a 308? Somebody asked that.
For
A Valkyrie.
same exact answer.
Okay.
So if like if you're in World War III, a rifle designed for 308, like an M1A or an FAL or a G3 or an HK91 or a SCAR 17, like weapons that have been refined for the 308 cartridge or the bolt action, then that's the way I would go there. So logistical compatibility becomes the priority anytime there's a long-term conflict potential.
All right, 1 second. Just gonna
Correct?
take care of something.
You got it, man.
Amen.
How do I?
So scientific, Rexy.
I'm very scientific today. I'm really appreciative that you're managing those comments. I feel so bad because like when I'm all by my lonesome on these live streams, I got tunnel vision, man. I'm like on the topic.
It's tough
and
to
it's
read
like
them
all this stuff goes by and I don't never catch it.
What about? Sorry.
How much battery's left on? How long can that thing record for? How long have we been recording?
We've been on for 83
Oh,
minutes.
dude,
now.
I gotta probably like go drink some water or something. Right, we'll take 2 more questions, guys, and then we're gonna give the final farewells, and we'll catch you on the next one.
So
If I survive to be back for the next one, we'll see how it works. You never know, man. You never know.
Goodbyes are so hard, though.
So sad.
Earlier, some guys were wondering about where the name TiborasaurusRex came from.
TiborasaurusRex. Okay, so I wanted to go to university originally to teach paleontology at universities. That's why I originally started going to college. I thought that'd be cool. So I went with the geology kind of mindset and chemistry. I was going to do my first degree was going to be in chemistry and then earth science. That was my plan. And then I go to master's school and go into paleontology. And so that's when I started my YouTube channel, was when I got my... Dude, I never had a computer until I went to university.
That's a true story.
Because they make you have a freaking computer to sign up for your class. Right? And then, unless you want to ride your bicycle all the way across town, which is what I used to do when I was a skinny little college kid, 27 years old. Ride my little bicycle, go over there. Beep, yes, I want this class. Drive back home, find out it's all screwed up. Got it wrong. So, anyways, I had to buy a computer for school, okay? And so that's when I heard that you could put your channel on there. So I made a channel for my rock and roll videos, and I had my music videos. Even some of the music videos were recorded in this very shed.
Wow.
Remember?
The shed.
The shed videos? We were rocking and rolling in the shed. And
Good videos.
so I picked a silly name, TiborasaurusRex, because the name Tibor, Rex Tibor, right? Tibor's a name. A saurus, Rex, because that's the big crazy dinosaur. That's awesome. Paleontology that I like. Okay? Now, do you really want to know the answer? In Latin, Tibor means holy place, which it does in the Slavic tongue, I think, if I remember correctly, and also very similar in a different language as well. It means holy place. A saurus means lizard, and Rex is king. Holy place, lizard king.
Nice.
Dude, where's the... Dude, did you build me that giant, awesome golden throne on top of the pyramid yet? Because I'll sit on there and go, with a scepter, holy place, lizard king has arrived.
You've got the evil laugh down, man.
I didn't realize about that. It was just a silly dinosaur name. But for the conspiracy guys that need to have the answer fully fulfilled, I am the king of the lizard
king.
people.
Ah.
By the way, that's what I was getting at with all that crazy stuff. That's why I wear these sunglasses indoors, so you can't see my eyeballs go.
Lizard eyes.
They switch back and forth. Hey, Lou, don't pull
Do
out
you
a dollar
have, like,
bill. For
iguana
God's
eyes?
sakes. Do not pull out a dollar bill, anybody, on this video, please. It's a long... No, don't do it, dude. Seriously. Then I'll be on here for another hour. Dude, I need some beer or something, man.
Or
This
some
is
water.
getting heavy. Yeah,
I
water.
don't think we have anything to drink.
You got some Windex over there.
All I've got is...
What do you got in there?
I've got some gin.
Oh, for
I've
God's
got
sakes.
some-
Dude, that's not going to help me survive.
Some leather foaming...
Oh, leather new foam. That sounds good. Dude, I actually am thirsty.
We could drink this.
What is...
God. This we could drink. You seriously have nothing to drink in here, guys.
Oh,
We're gonna
man.
die.
Well, out of all the choices, I guess New Amsterdam it is going to be. No, I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to go actually get some water to drink. I am thirsty. But yes, I am the king of the lizard people is what that would mean. The holy place lizard king, mind you, which means I'm the original, out of all the lizard people,
He's the one.
I'm the one that was the good one
The
that
lizard
started
king.
it all off originally for good intent before it got twisted for evil purposes. You think that'll keep them busy for a while?
It should.
Now we can go this way and they'll go that way, and then we can go this way and do what we're actually gonna go do. Why did you hear what you said? I knew it. There's actually people who are into that stuff now. What? And don't even get me started on the shadow people.
So,
You know what the proper term is reptoid.
Reptoid?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a reptoid? If you
You're
are,
a reptoid.
remember.
Remember,
You
I'm
remember.
the king. Okay, so
I love you guys. You're too much fun.
we got one more question.
By the way, that was a joke.
By the way,
For the record, there's some. Where see that? He's so. This guy's stupid.
he thinks he's a lizard.
Airsoft Warrior is gonna come on a video. Wex admitted he's a lizard king. He's stupid. He doesn't even know anything about math or anything. He's retarded. Okay. All right. Oh God. Lord save us all.
Saw you in the
What?
casino with Hunter Thompson.
All right, man. What's our last question so I can go drink some water?
Question. Bum, 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 bum.
Somebody earlier was wondering about thermal vision during wintertime. Does that work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And are they talking about like counter sniper type stuff or something?
I don't know. Maybe just target acquisition or something.
I don't like talking about that online. You guys got to come to the Combat Command Fire class. We'll talk about thermal emissivity camouflage.
Somebody else was wondering.
Question. Yes.
Did you say you have a question?
I don't need no water. I'm the human camel.
I could use some water.
What about the AR-10 platform?
Oh man, that's a weird one. Because originally that whole gas impingement design made by Stoner was supposed to be in the caliber. And I haven't had one that I didn't break like very quickly.
Oh, yeah?
I think that's probably why they reduced the caliber and adjusted it to the 5.56. So I think that's what probably happened. They had to change. There's a big step to change from 308 to 5.56 in terms of ammunition logistic compatibility. Since the 1890s, they've been shooting the 30-40 Craig in 308 caliber. Then it was the 30-03, then the 30-6, and then the 308, and all the 30 caliber military stuff was all 30 calibers. So to go to 5.56 was a ginormous deviation from the path. And so I'm wondering if that wasn't maybe one of the reasons. It just worked better in that rifle.
Could be.
Because I love my AR-10s. They're accurate. They're reliable until they break. And then once they break, then they don't work. And so I love them for certain things, for DMR applications or stuff like that, where you got a whole team of guys that you're operating with. Like if you're in a firing, like if you're in a squad level unit and you got other guys to cover, if your damn rifle breaks, you can just throw it and then grab a real rifle.
Yeah.
It's, whatever. There are new platforms. They're working the bugs out of them, but they're very expensive. But you can't just get an over-the-counter under $1,000 AR-10 and expect it to work. In my experience, I had an Armalite AR-10 that lasted for a long time. Actually, it still was working pretty good by the time I got rid of it. But yeah, they're it's a lot of horsepower for that kind of a platform, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, guys. Just my opinion.
We could be wrong.
Always could be wrong.
Yeah.
Well, it's been fun hanging out with you guys.
Always a pleasure, folks.
Yeah. So yes, the podcast crew still does exist. We're sitting here. We always hang out, and we just don't have time to all get together on the same time. This guy's got general ranking status at his job, 5-star general, combat commander, whatever he's doing over there. And she's been keeping busy on all kinds of various projects that are awesome, which we will tell you about when the time is correct. But she's gaining skill sets in other areas. So we are in the growth phase. So do have patience with the podcast. There's another one coming out soon. Me and Lou got one recorded. That's awesome. I just need to it takes hours to go through the process to do that. And I'm always gone. So do stay tuned for more live streams with the crew. We love hanging out with you guys on the live streams, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Woo!
Take care, guys. We'll see you soon.
Where's the button?
Go to rexdefense.com, rexreviews.org.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.